Good afternoon, I'm Sean Yao, and this is One News Now. Anytime today, there will be a final decision on whether or not authorities will extend the consolidation period of the PUV modernization program. While waiting for that decision, Transport Group Piston is still asking for the suspension of the modernization program, calling it, quote, a blatant failure from the start. Piston also wants the Land Transportation Franchising and Regulatory Board, or LTFRB, to review the scheme's implementation and to consult stakeholders first. The program is set to phase out traditional jeepneys that fail to comply with requirements by April. Meantime, the LTFRB is allowing 100,000 vehicles registered under Grab to receive franchises. This comes after the ride-hailing app promised President Marcos to provide drivers some 500,000 jobs. LTFRB Chairman Teofilo Guades said they could add more slots to meet the growing public demand for Transport Network Vehicle Service, or TNVS. He added that the LTFRB is also trying to give franchises to motor vehicles in cities outside of Metro Manila. The agency is releasing very soon the memorandum circulars detailing guidelines and qualifications for TNVS drivers. And here's some good news for commuters. Oil companies will implement a big-time rollback in prices of petroleum products effective tomorrow. The price of gasoline will be going down by 2 pesos and 10 centavos per liter, while diesel prices will decrease by 3 pesos per liter. Kerosene will also be cheaper by 2 pesos and 30 centavos a liter. But the big-time rollback does not cancel out net increases in petroleum products since the start of the year. Compared to last year's prices, diesel has increased by 3 pesos this year, kerosene by almost 5 pesos per liter, while gasoline prices have been hiked by more than 7 pesos so far. In other news, the government reiterates its promise to seek justice for OFW Julie Biranara as she is laid to rest in Las Piñas yesterday. A funeral procession was held for the domestic worker who was murdered, her body burned and dumped in a desert earlier this year. The Overseas Workers Welfare Administration says it is extending all possible assistance to the Ranara family.
Ang susunod na hakbang natin ay yung hustisya na hinihiling at kailangan na maibigay sa pamilya at kay Jollibee. And now that our duty sa welfare ay naibigay natin lahat, it's susunod nating hakbang. Of course, OWA will be in full support of all the steps to be taken by the DMW and the DFA and the government para yung itong napakasakit na nangyari dito sa pamilyang.
Also present in Ranara's funeral was the sister of Joanna Demafelis, another OFW who was killed in Kuwait and whose body was found in a freezer in 2018. Joyce Demafelis hopes that her sister's case will not be forgotten.
May update naman po noong 2021 po, tapos ng 2022 at saka ngayong 2023 wala na po. Pero nung March po, pumunta po ako doon sa DFA po. Tapos tinawagan po ako nung June 16, sabi magsasagawa po ng hearing sa Kuwait, yung last hearing po. Tapos sinabihan po na ako na okay na po, panalo na po yung kaso ng ate ko. Pero sabi nila, tatawagan na lang po kami ulit kung ano yung next step po ng case ng ate ko.
Time to take a quick break. One News Now will be back with more stories after that. Keep it here. You're still watching One News Now. I'm Sean Yao. The Securities and Exchange Commission is warning against investing in 6 companies. These are Web Mining, Oyala, BKC Trading, Winvest, Mazama, and MetaTrade. The SEC says these companies have not secured their license to offer securities. The commission added that the 6 entities are engaged in a Ponzi scheme where money from new investors is used to pay fake profits to prior investors. And the United Nations Special Rapporteur is arriving in Manila today. Justice Secretary Boying Remulla said he invited Dr. Morris Tidball-Binns, who will be in the country from February 6 to 9. Tidball-Binns is a rapporteur on extrajudicial summary killings or arbitrary executions. Remulla hopes that the expert could provide closure to families of EJK victims and share his know-how on forensics according to international standards. And out of the country, U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken abruptly canceled the high-stakes trip to China, which was supposed to ease tensions between Washington and Beijing. This is after the discovery of a Chinese spy balloon that was eventually shot down over the weekend. Associated Press reporter Matthew Lee with the details.
Good afternoon.
My name is Matthew Lee, and I am the diplomatic writer for the Associated Press. I cover the State Department and U.S. foreign policy. This trip that Secretary Blinken had planned to take beginning this weekend had been long anticipated. It was first announced by President Biden and President Xi of China back in November when they met in Bali, Indonesia. It was intended to be an important series of meetings in which the U.S. and the Chinese could attempt to bridge some of the very many differences that the two sides have. The discovery or the detection of this Chinese balloon, whether it was a spy balloon or a weather balloon or whatever, we're not quite sure yet, but the discovery of this balloon over U.S. territory really just kind of destroyed the entire thing. A bit of context here. The Chinese get very angry anytime there is anything close to U.S. or other surveillance over territory that they claim to be their own. They reacted to this with a statement of contrition. They acknowledged that this balloon is theirs. They said that it had strayed off course. It was had limited ability to guide itself, and that westerly winds blew it into or over U.S. airspace, and they essentially apologized. That, however, was not enough to change the administration's mind that this is still a blatant violation of U.S. airspace, of U.S. sovereignty, and of international law, and that it had to be met with some kind of a response. And so the postponement of this trip is the response that we're seeing, and it's not clear at all when it might be rescheduled.
Back here in the Philippines, these are the other stories we're watching today. Authorities have yet to reveal their next steps after 4 Chinese vessels tailed Philippine Navy warship BRP Andres Bonifacio just a few days ago. The incident occurred near Mischief Reef, which is within the 200 nautical mile exclusive economic zone of the Philippines. And a Hong Kong cargo ship left about 1 million pesos in damage after it plowed into fishermen's payao or artificial reef in Masinloc, Zambales. Fishermen in the area said that the ship went ahead to the reef's direction on January 17 despite repeated warnings. Bureau of Corrections Acting Director Gregorio Catapang has filed plunder charges against his predecessor Gerald Bantag and other jail officials. Katapang's legal counsel claims that over 270 million pesos of public funds were misappropriated by the respondents from the construction of 3 prison facilities. And for more updates, visit News 5, The Philippine Star, and Business World online. Visit our website, onenews.ph, for more in-depth analysis. You can also catch One News on Signal Play. Register for a free account at www.signalplay.com and stream One News live anytime, anywhere. I am Sean Yao. We are One News.